Agenda-setting financial insight now with our commentary arm, Reuters Breakingviews. One story today, but it's a big one. What happens if Greece runs out of money? With the answer is Breakingviews assistant editor, Robert Cole. Robert, straightforward question. You're the one that's asking it today. What does happen if Greece runs out of cash?
Well, quite clearly, there's a lot of trouble for Greece, for its people, and for the Eurozone. What this piece really does is try and chart how and when it might run out of money and what the ramifications would be, because clearly any country can run out of money. And I won't go into all the numbers, but you can read that in the piece, which does that in some detail. But it charts the inflows and the outflows, the bond issues, and the that it has to, and the debts that it has to repay, the obligations that it has, and the money that may or may not come in. And the bottom line is, I mean, it's really a piece of analysis rather than anything else. But the bottom line also points to the fact that Greece can probably find its way through financially to July, which is beyond the point at which it's due its next tranche. But it isn't going to be a pretty place. And if it becomes obvious, or if it becomes likely, or even if the threat grows, that it will try and stand on its own 2 feet without the money from the ECB and of course, from the European authorities. And of course, there is a chance that a compromise deal might be hatched. Perhaps the European authorities will relax their stance a bit. But if it looks like Greece is going to run out of money, what we think is that there will be a high risk of a bank run, and then things really start to unravel very quickly.
So financially, we're talking about a bank run.
Well, that's
deposits flying out of the country. Does the piece tackle what may happen on the social front? Because if the economy collapses, could society implode even further?
Well, I mean, clearly it's not going to be great for society if the economics don't stack up, and I think that lies beneath what we're writing. Yes, we write about the economics, but it's the economics are there to serve the social structures, and clearly if the economics don't work, the social structures are going to be in a lot of difficulty. Yeah.
Are we talking about potentially a risk of a return to dictatorship?
Who knows what kind of governmental structures will emerge in the worst case scenarios. I think it's a little early to start talking about what might happen, not 1 step on, but 2 or 3 steps on. I think what we can see, and it's difficult enough to see even a few weeks ahead, I think what we can see is that there is a climbing risk, or there is a very, very substantial risk of meltdown really in the economy. And of course that as that comes into view, and it seems that maybe the Greeks will have another think. Maybe the electorate, it looks likely now, given the inconclusive nature of the result on Sunday, that there will be a second set of elections. Perhaps the Greeks will have another look and say, well, actually, we will be worse off. We're bad enough off with this austerity, we may be even worse off outside the euro. But of course there's a risk that with new elections as well. Perhaps the feeling will harden
further,
and make matters worse for Greece. But sorry, you wanted to come in there. But even in that situation, I think one shouldn't. There is an upside of sorts, which is that if the Greeks do come to a second election, do say, look, we wanted our own way, I think then the chances of contagion actually reduce, because people around Europe might say, oh, well, the Greeks, they want to do it their way, fair enough, but they can cauterise the wound, if you like, and there isn't necessarily a lead on into other countries. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Well, that brings me to my final question. Citigroup, we spoke about this on Monday. Citigroup said the chance of so-called Grexit is as high as 75%. Monday seems like a long way away. It was a long time ago. There's been dramatic developments since then. And you said on Monday, 50-50 chance.
Yeah,
has that changed?
I haven't changed my view. I still think that 75% looks high, and actually, I certainly wouldn't say any more than 50-50. Possibly a bit less, because while the mood music is very, very dour, while clearly the messages coming out of the political parties and the economic picture is very grim. The logic of the situation suggests that some sort of deal must be fixed up, and while it's difficult to see how that's going to be done, the alternative is so much worse that you have to, I think, cling to the thought that economic logic will prevail.
Cling to the thought or cling to the hope. And obviously logic and politics don't always go hand in hand. Robert, thank you very much. That's all for now. My thanks there to Robert Cole. For more agenda-setting financial insight, watch our US Breaking Views show every day at 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.